Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit, two model kits probably, maybe just one. Maybe we won't finish the first one and won't get started on the second one, but I'm hoping we will. And I'm here to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Barricade Lego, the site, the emote in chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hi. You can use other people's emotes, or you don't have to say anything at all. Lastbrook is here. Welcome, Lastbrook. I'm going to say hi to people. Mr. Hadel's here saying howdy, Pat. Howdy to you. Mr. Hadel, welcome. Important note, as you can see here, both sides there, we are at 45 subscribers right now. Aristofan's here. Welcome, Aristofan. The goal is to get to 50 subscribers. Dirty's here. Welcome, Dirty. Now, do we have to do that tonight? No. Would I like to do that soon? Yes. Is it always nice to get to that subscriber goal? 100% it is. So that's the goal, is to get to 50. So if you're thinking about subscribing, if you haven't, it's September for a couple more days. So this is a chance for you to be able to do that. Yeah, you have till Thursday to subscribe at a discounted rate. Gift a sub if that's something you'd like to do. You could do that as well. If you have a gifted sub, you want to convert that to a regular subscription, they won't charge you until your gifted sub is completed. And then also, you get that discount when that happens. So those are things to keep in mind. You don't have to, of course, you don't have to do any of those things, but I would like to get to 50, and it does take around until we do. So the little signage goes away once we hit 50 subscribers. Again, we don't have to. For Monday, for tonight's stream, there's not a whole lot on the agenda. Manga talk, some anime talk, not a lot, but some. And model kit building. We are body complete on the Strike Noir. We are working on the backpack, which will involve the very first step involves screws, and one of the very last steps involves the other two screws. So we'll be putting those together to complete the backpack, and then building the weapons. There are not a ton of weapons for this kit, but there are a few. There's dual pistols, dual rifles, and I believe that's it. Yeah, the dual pistols, the dual rifles, and then oh, sorry, there's two different kinds of rifles. Hey, welcome, Lower Crash. Happy to have you here. Great to have you here as always. In fact, also on this kit, we already built one of the weapons on it, because the wings here have a sword attached to them, so you can always remove those swords. And also it has a gun attached to it, and we'll show that off later. And then there's like a whip thing that can be attached to the legs or the wrists, or it becomes like a tail, and we'll put that on. It's weird, but we got these two wires, so we might as well use it in a kit, so we'll do that. But yeah, that's the agenda, is that, and then if we have time, we will move on to the Tertium high grade, which I'm going to be honest with you folks, I don't know anything about. It looks cool. It's one of those things that it's one of those Gundams that looks like a Gundam and also looks like a mass production mobile suit, which I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. Also, I think the colors look pretty dang nice, so that'll be fun to build. In the future, today, maybe I included it because I don't think this is going to take all stream, but it could. There could be tricky components with what we're building here. So I included that this was the thing we would do. Perhaps also to entice people who were like, oh, I don't actually like the Strike Noir, so I'm not going to hang out during the stream. Which, who knows? There could be people that are like, that is a deal breaker for them. All right, let me do a couple quick little things, and we'll get building real soon. Yeah, I hope you're all doing well out there on the internets. We'll retweet tweet in a moment. Not a lot to discuss tonight as far as like news. I mean, there's some EA, not some EA. There's some Activision Blizzard, I should say. ActiBliz we could talk about. I guess we can talk about some sci-fi news that came out. Maybe we'll talk about that. I don't want to get into look. I don't know where this lore shit started, but there was some. The discourse was about lore, and if you need it, or if it's a crutch, or if lore Bibles are necessary. And I didn't find out what the source of that was. I just saw people giving their own opinions on it, but not retweets of opinions. So I can't jump from there. But I can tell you that I do think lore Bibles are good. I think that relying on lore, those Bibles, isn't necessarily great. Also, I think that feeling like you have to solve everything. Hey, Mr. Bob, welcome. Happy to have you here. It's been a hot minute. Feeling that you need to solve every problem for the audience, I think, is misguided. But at the same time, uh, not you need to know. You need to know those answers, right? That is a thing that, like, somewhat famously, maybe not super famously. We'll get into the building in just a moment. But yeah, I'm going to retweet much. We'll get into working on Strike Noir here, and I'm going to start working with screws, which is a weird thing. But yeah. Here we go. We're in our overhead. Look, Lost is a thing we could talk a lot about. Lost, right? Up and down, we could talk about Lost. Pros and cons. Good, bad, indifferent. Started off great, got good at one point, ended poorly, ended great. You got opinions, or you have no opinion on it. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. But it is a quantity of a fact that we have to discuss, which is people went to J.J. Abrams with, like, we have money. We would like you to create a show where the opening involves a plane crash and then people trapped on an island. And that's it. Of course, hand it off to other people to do it, to do the work. With that is what they want. This is what we want. So when I tell you that decisions were made for a pilot that then have to be incorporated into a larger story, how that could lead to issues down the road, I think you can understand that, right? That I don't think that is a good way to do business. To start with, here is a premise, okay, and we'll add some spooky shit. Because, like, I don't have to know what the smoke monster is. I don't have to understand why there's a polar bear there. I don't have to understand that in the first season. I maybe never have to actually ever understand that. But you have to understand that if you're writing the thing, if you're creating the thing, you gotta fucking know that shit. If I don't know that shit, okay, fine. I'm the viewer. It's okay if I don't know everything. But you gotta know it. Because if you don't know it, how am I gonna know it? How am I gonna enjoy it? That's my big thing when it comes to lore. Which so like I said, I don't know why fucking people were talking about it. I don't know where it came from, the discussion. I don't know where those discussions are going to go after this. From what I understand, J.J. Abrams, said he doesn't know either. Yeah, he should. They all should. To me, discovery is one thing, right? You got to roll with the punches. Fucking, you got to roll with the punches, right? Somebody quits. Somebody gets fired because they're an alcoholic and they're getting DUIs. And Hawaii is like, get this person off our island. So then you got to rewrite some shit. Fine. You got to roll with things, right? Haven't been here in a while, but lost talk out of nowhere. Mr. Bob, I am actually leading somewhere with this, which is rare for me. Also, well, yes, it has been a hot minute. Happy to have you here. We're working on the wings of this Strike Noir. I'm going to put a screw into this in a second. But it is, in my opinion anyway, an important thing to note that Lost didn't have direction. They were figuring it out as they went. Now, in the news today, we heard about, maybe you did, I certainly read about it, from the mouthpiece of the project, that the CW has ordered a pilot with the possibility of a season ordered after that. of Babylon 5, a reimagining, not an exact retelling, a reimagining of Babylon 5 from J. Michael Straczynski, who is writing the pilot right now and will be executive producing and writing episodes if the pilot gets picked up to an order. Now, you don't have to know much about Babylon 5. In fact, I don't think you need to watch it. I think for its time, it was important. For what it did, it was important. From the standpoint of CGI in a show, from the fact that one person wrote so many episodes of the show, an incredible amount of episodes for its 4 seasons and some movies and some season of it. The fact that there was a creative force so instinctively worked on it, that had a Bible for it. I can tell you one thing about the CW reboot: everyone will be hot. I mean, it's possible. Look, there are some people in the original cast. I don't know how you can make them any hotter. Pretty damn hot. Um, but yeah, I must still be groggy and mentally confused for not having slept since yesterday. But I thought you said Babylon 5. Yes, Dirty. Apparently, some people who are high up in CW, they're probably, so here's the thing that happens in this world, and this is a larger thing that happens in this world, and I'm sure you're aware of this as well. When people get money, they get to do shit that they want to do that doesn't make sense. Lashbrook is well aware of this. If you have enough money, you can start a wrestling promotion because you fucking love wrestling. And you inherited a lot of money, and you could just have a wrestling show. You can just have that. If you are high up in in a television network, you can reboot a series that did well, syndicated, because you think that Babylon 5 is cool and you want to see Babylon 5 again. That is a thing that people can just do. I mean, they can get it to the pilot stage and pay for a pilot to exist, which is, again, bonkers, but true. There's been a long-standing desire to watch it because of references on the Drew Carey show. That's going to date me. I get that, Mr. Bob. Yeah. So here's the thing about Babylon 5. Years before it aired, or before it was produced, Straczynski pitched a show, a rough outline, had a bit of a Bible of it, had some ideas for it, had some characters, pitched that to Paramount, and basically with the idea of, hey, Star Trek people, let me make a Star Trek show, and they said no. And then a few months after Babylon 5 came out, Deep Space Nine happened. Now, there was apparently some sort of settlement at some point. There was never a lawsuit. Straczynski claims in interviews at the time and since that he did not pursue a lawsuit because it wasn't complete plagiarism, but it was certainly idea plagiarism. But he felt that it would hurt Babylon 5. Being in that lawsuit would hurt it. And also, at a certain point, he liked Deep Space Nine. He was happy they did it. That they did a space station based Star Trek show. So he's like, I think it will hurt both shows if we go into a lawsuit. And supposedly there was some sort of agreement at one point. But again, a lot of that is circumstantial conversation that who knows. But it was kind of fucking ridiculous that for the first time ever, they did after he had pitched his show, and then they said no, and he went and did his own space opera, that suddenly, for the first time ever, Star Trek made Deep Space Nine, that kind of thing. Also, you should see The Expanse, because that's probably opening doors for B-tier syndicated sci-fi. Yeah, so the thing about Babylon 5 is there's a Bible. A story Bible for 5 seasons. Now, were things truncated and only completed due to movies? Yes. We didn't get all of it because of that. So we didn't get all of that stuff, right? But they wrote, he wrote an outlined 5 years, to the point where there's a character in the beginning of the show that doesn't fucking make sense for 4 seasons or 3.5 seasons. There's a character that says a thing and it doesn't make any fucking sense. And how do you write a show like that when you don't have when you don't have all your cast lined up and you don't have 4 or 5 year deals? Well, you put in place plot devices to kill those characters off, which happened. I think I was mistaking a lore Bible with like a character Bible. Yes. So Lashbrook, that there are different kinds of Bibles in storytelling things. Yes, there are character outlines and guides. So these things are important for very few shows are done like Babylon 5, where they are, one, planned out, and two, written almost exclusively by a person. Most shows, with season 3 when the Rangers show up. So I'm a little iffy. Season 5 is the movies and the people who escape from Earth. 4 is the war. And so I think 3 is the Rangers and leading into the war and the Shadow War, I believe. It's been a while. But so basically, he set up a bunch of like characters and plot devices to remove people because they did people left the cast, and you have to explain that because I don't want to say too much, but hey, there's time travel at a point. And you can't tell a story with time travel easily if you have to replace actors. So, look, knowing there's time travel isn't going to mess up your enjoyment of that show because there's a lot if you wanted to go back. Also, I don't know if you should go back because I think the CG at the time was brilliant. I don't think it holds up at this point. But also, a big element is the fact that it's just a fucking weird ass show. It's a slow, weird show where character development sometimes takes seasons. I mean, there's some big character shifts and changes that are very important, and they happen incredibly slow. This is the kind of shit that you see in really good, really good, well-funded anime, and not syndicated television. It's kind of fucking remarkable and kind of fucking brilliant that happened. It changed all the way. So certainly a lot of things were done. Oh, I'm going to ring the bell here. Thank you, Mr. Bob, for doing that. There's that bell. I rang that bell. Thank you for using your Shannon points on that. But anyway, so quickly, character Bibles are essential for people who are writing a sitcom, right? Now, depending on the show, oftentimes there'll be a pitch where people say like, "Hey, here's a story I'd like to tell. I want to tell a story where one of the characters, you know how he's been working for the Yankees. Well, let's have a thing where he quits, and then he feels bad about that, and he wants to take it back. So he just shows up and pretends like he didn't quit. He just like keeps working. He'll just show up and act like he didn't quit to see if that works. That's based on a true story, so let's do it in the show. And then someone's just like, "That's great. Write up the treatment for it. Your name will be on top of it. I'll have a couple people help you out, and then we'll all punch it up." So you go off, you do your show. You got hired on Seinfeld like a season ago. You don't remember everything about George. You know a lot about George Costanza, but you don't know every job that he had on the show. You're like, I haven't. What's his relate? Like, does he ever hang out with Kramer? Could I write an episode where he and Kramer are really hanging out? Is there relationship? Is there like quirks in the relationship that we can like that I could play with? I'm not really sure. Good thing I have a character Bible that really gives me a detailed idea of like what's going on with this character, or at least a jumping off point, and like how the characters relate to one another. And I can do that. And then I can also consult the lore Bible. Because, yeah, is there a lore Bible for the show? Oh, there isn't one. Okay. Well, then who should I talk to about like what I should be checking out about this? Like, oh, okay, well, these are the people who've been here the longest. You're not going to get a chance to talk to Larry about this, but Larry's going to have thoughts. A table read. Someone's going to have a thing. They'll bring that stuff up. Julia Louis-Dreyfus keeps talking about this one thing that, like, remember the dance, the weird dance she did? Like, she wants to bring that back. So if you could fit that in there, like all this stuff, all that stuff is incredibly helpful to figuring out how to write the show. Most of the time, you're not going to get your lore Bible is not going to be the show, a beat for beat, large outline of several seasons of a show. It's just not. It might be, hey, by the end of the year, by the end of the season, we want this to happen. Hey, we want 2 putty episodes because we have a multi-episode deal with Patrick Wharton. So we want 2 putty episodes at minimum. Hey, we need another Jerry's new girlfriend focused episode. So let's get that. Hey, Jerry wants to do an episode about this, so let's get that in. You're going to have that kind of thing, right? We still haven't done this thing that Larry once did for George, so let's include that. Or, hey, we're going to do less Kramer-focused episodes this season, so let's come up with some fun C-plots for Kramer, because he's got because Michael has a bunch of days off. So we're gonna restructure this. Like, that kind of stuff you're gonna find in there, directives, that kind of thing. But you're not gonna find generally, here's what's happening in the story. Especially shows like that, like sitcoms, you're not gonna have that necessarily. Friends, this season we're ending with the wedding and like, and these things are gonna happen, and we're gonna end up in London. We know we're going to end up in London. We have a backup plan in case we actually can't do some of this stuff, but this is where we want to end up with the story. So that's where we're going to go with it. So here's how we get there. And then we'll do this and this and this. Oh, shit, we didn't write a Thanksgiving episode. We got to write a Thanksgiving episode. There's only 1 year. For some reason, 1 year, we aren't going to do one, but it won't be this year. So we'll do this for Friends. We'll get all of that. That's generally how it works out. Shows are different. They, some shows have no character Bibles, no lore Bible. They just have, hey, watch the other episodes, or a new fun modern thing. Yeah, just go on Wikipedia. There's a fan wiki that we all use, because I'm not saying every show does this, but I'm saying a lot of people who write shit for television go to, or you know who uses fan wikis a lot? Fallout writers use fan wikis a lot. Oh man, because there's a lore master for the Fallout universe, but a lot of times people are just like going on to wikis to look up what happened to things and canceled things and all that. That happens a lot. Not all the time, but it does happen a lot. But for television and stuff like that, yeah, it depends on the show. It depends on the style of the show, who's doing what, and how to figure that out. So that's why sometimes you'll see sitcoms where characters don't behave in a way that makes any sense, and you're like, why did that character act that way? That's weird. Someone brought that up, and it was decided that, well, we need someone to say a thing here. We need this to happen, and this is the cleanest way to do it. It's okay that they're being a little weird, or they're being less weird than they should, or they're the voice of reason in the scene. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would their character be a voice of reason? Like that. Those conversations sometimes happen, and sometimes those conversations don't happen, because sometimes people are just like, huh, okay. Or Well, I fought for this other thing because uh, 2 episodes ago, I was saying some stuff that doesn't make any fucking sense, and they got mad at me. So I'm not going to say shit about this thing. So hopefully, no one will get mad at me for a little while, and I can fight a different battle that I am raging to have about a different character choice for my character. And then there are some actors who are just like, "What do you need me to say? When do you need me to say it? How long do I have to memorize it? How many takes are?" How many takes do I get on this one? Okay, great. Thank you. It depends, a lot on performance. Some people care so fucking much about their shit. Other people are like, cool, cool, cool. Uh, and I also think that's fucking fine. And sometimes it also depends on uh, the world, the characters, the story that you're trying to tell. Like, there are shows out there that are silly. And so in general, it's like, whatever. This show's goofy. It's okay that this one particular moment doesn't make a lot of sense because this show doesn't take itself seriously. And there are other things that are like, this show takes itself very seriously. This moment doesn't make any sense. We gotta like talk about it and figure it out. Um, uh, There was a little while ago a conversation about how an SNL, oh no, sorry, SNL, uh, a writer was hired for WWE, and they made some comments. They're a comedian. They made some comments that were probably taken out of context because they were on a comedy podcast about how she didn't know the name, the full name of the champion on the show that she was writing for. And wrestling fans got fucking furious about that. Got so mad about that because wrestling fans don't want to think that people who don't love wrestling get to work on wrestling. Even though that's the majority of people who work on wrestling don't fucking know anything about wrestling. They know things about writing storylines and television. And in fact, one of the best storylines of the past 5 years was written by somebody who came from the world of soap operas, because she wrote a fucking soap opera storyline that worked real well about forbidden love and characters and an underdog status and this lovely thing where the guy did get the girl in the end and it did work out and it was a fun moment. But people don't want, but people, by people I mean wrestling fans, don't want to talk about that shit. But anyway, in the course of this conversation of people being very mad at this particular person for not knowing anything, a lot of came up was you wouldn't hire someone to write for Seinfeld who doesn't know anything about the show. To which I say, then you don't know anything about writing for television because they do that all the fucking time. This year, there are new cast members to SNL who probably haven't watched SNL in years. There are new writers for SNL who didn't watch anything last season or the season before. Because you don't have to write, you don't have to watch a thing to know how to write things. And they're often not hiring people that are historians. They do hire people that have a love of it, that love every moment of it, that think about it kindly and thoughtfully. But there are also people who were hired to write on Seinfeld that had never seen it. They went and, rented some DVDs after the fact. They went and checked some stuff out. They're not being hired because they know the show frontwards and backwards. They're being hired because they're writers and they can write. And that's why you have things like lore Bibles and all that. Like, look, you're not, beyond the fact that you're not going to hire a 20-something-year-old comedian from New York to write for the WWE champion. That's just, that wasn't going to happen. But also, you can learn the ins and outs of what the fuck happens in wrestling because it ain't that much. It ain't hard to know the ins and outs of wrestling. To understand the psychology of wrestling, sure, that's going to fucking take some time. That's just something you can just learn. But to understand that, like, what character moments are and to know, like, okay, you're working on this thing. We need some writers to come up. Hey, Lysander, welcome. We need some people to come up with some fun things to happen in here and this, and then you just go, okay, great. I'm writing some bits. I'm working with this performer who has some ideas, and we're going to flush out some ideas for the 24/7 championship. Sure. What's that again? Great. Okay. Here are the things that can happen in this. Oh, cool. I'm writing storyline stuff for this thing. Oh, this guy for real got fired by WWE, and the fan response was so massive from promos he got on his own that now they're bringing him back. Ooh, I can tell that story. Yeah, I got some ideas for that. Oh, we could do this and this and this, and oh, cool. Well, he's already talked about his real life wife in the show, so we can incorporate that. And oh, yeah, all right, this will work out great. Like, you don't have to know 50 years of wrestling to be able to like come up with shit like that. Like, that's not hard. In the same way, you don't have to watch. Imagine if everyone who wrote for Family Guy had to know every moment of Family Guy. Also, I can tell you this. I won't say their name, but I have a friend who writes for Rick and Morty that had never watched a moment of Rick and Morty before they got hired to write for Rick and Morty, and they haven't watched anything since. They just understand how to write wacky characters. Uh, you don't have to know. You don't have to be a big fan. You could, if you're funny, you can write comedy. And if you're weird, you could certainly write comedy. But yeah, you can just do shit like that. You know, it helps to have a fundamental understanding. That's probably better for Rick and Morty. Yeah, I mean, I think so. But yeah, imagine if you had to watch every episode of Family Guy to write for Family Guy. It'd be fucking really tedious and nonsensical. There's no reason to do that. Um, there is somebody's job right now to there's someone hired at The Simpsons that basically just tells you if The Simpsons did it or not. Because The Simpsons has been uh, on for so long that people think that their ideas they've had since they were a kid, like, oh, I've always thought this would be funny. Oh, yeah, no, you got that from The Simpsons. Because, like, you can't, like, you can't come up with an idea that you think like, oh, I had this from like my youth. I always thought this was a funny premise. It's probably The Simpsons did it, not exclusively, but probably. Um, so that is important for that particular show to have people who are like, oh yeah, no, I know what happens on there. But that's not up to the writers. Yes, but where did The Simpsons get it? Well, of course, they were inspired by other things. It's pop culture, it's moments, but like Simpsons did it is a joke, but it also does come from a real place where it's just been around for so long that people don't understand that they often are referencing it because they're referencing something that referenced it, which happens a lot, right? Um, like that's why because people only people make references like that references to things that they know about, right? So like sometimes you'll hear like people say like, oh, this music is real like Persona 4y, or like this music is real Persona-ish, or like Persona 5-ish, and it's just like, yes, jazz fusion. You're talking about jazz fusion. I understand, and I'm not mad at you that you understand that you are using a reference that you get. Like some people get pissed about that. And I'm like, well, this person doesn't fucking know that they're influenced, that's what it is. They know the thing and they're referencing the thing. It's fine. The Simpsons have tried to do so many jokes and references for 30 years. Indeed, the existential dread of creative type, the fear that their stuff isn't original enough. Yeah, Lysander, that certainly is a fear. You're not wrong. Um, There is a fear, and there are also people who are like, I wear my references and my influences on my sleeve, and I think that's the better way to go, right? The better way to go is to go, hey, I'm writing uh, Deep Space Nine meets news radio. That is a premise of a show that I wrote a pilot and a treatment for 3 episodes on, uh, which has been rejected soundly by several people, which is okay. I've moved on since. That is a project that I've done a long time ago. Basically, there's an episode of news radio where they're like in space, and I was like, oh, I love that. What if I did a sitcom? Now you're like, isn't that Red Dwarf? It isn't, but it is. Or you're like, well, isn't that this, or isn't that spaced? And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes yes. Um, Particularly, I was attempting to write um, a funny Deep Space Nine, like a situation comedy that takes place on a space station. That was the thing I was trying to write. So in my head, I was writing news radio in space, workplace situation comedy. Uh, Now, is it different? Sure. Does it? Does my pilot heavily take from the pilots of Deep Space Nine and news radio? Oh, it certainly does, and it would be rewritten to death, I'm sure. But it does take those influences because I was trying to write news radio in space, like a Deep Space Nine news radio. I took those pilots and I used them as my template to write my pilot. Also, because the pilots for Deep Space Nine and news radio are fucking fantastic. You should go back and watch those pilots. They tell you almost everyone's character games, set up all the dynamics. It's Dave's character's first day, so you get to meet all the characters interacting with their new station manager. It's Bashir, the doctor's first day, so he's got to meet everybody important because he's he's the station doctor. So you see all of these characters interact, and like, yes, they didn't understand the dynamics. Yes, they didn't quite nail, like, they still don't know what to do with Joe Rogan's character at that point. But most of the characters uh, are set in that first episode, and you are seeing it through the eyes of a newcomer. So you better believe that my pilot episode for that series is from the perspective of a new cast member joining this crew, new crew member coming in and having to be introduced to everybody and the plots and the subplots and the character games. You better believe that I fucking did that shit, because why wouldn't I? That shit is that they made it easy for me to do. So of course I wrote like that. Uh Deep Space Radio sounds pretty cool. I'd pay to see this now. Well, appreciate that. Look, I can't tell you it was going to be ever be good, but it was a fun idea. Basically, the premise is, um, uh, they made space travel faster. There are jump gates now, so they improved the universe improved uh, travel. So you used to have to go from star system to star system and use smaller jumps. Basically, it's like they put in the interstate, and now the smaller highways don't get the traffic anymore, and all of the roadside, towns don't get the traffic anymore. So this is a space station that used to be a big fucking deal. It used to get a lot of traffic, but it doesn't anymore because now people jump past it. So uh, it is where people on their way up go and people on their way out go. Yeah, the Route 66 phenomenon. Yes, indeed. Amethyst. Yeah. So it is that kind of idea of like, um, you have like up and comers who are just annoying, uh, and you have people who are past their prime who are like can still do the work. There's no reason for them to be retired, but like nobody's asking for their help right now. Nobody's nobody's beating down their door for them to come and make something of themselves. Uh, so it becomes that kind of thing. Wait, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Okay, sorry. Um, Lysander. Oh, got a hold message here. I don't know why that was. That's weird. I don't know why that was. I have no idea why that. Nightbot. What are you doing? Is there a character that is trying to come harebrained schemes to put the station back on the map? So there definitely there is the young person on the crew. There is the um because like the captain or the commander of it is just like, I don't want to be here. um I was supposed to retire. They're keeping me in. They're making me do this. I already felt like I've given up. And then there's a young upstart who kind of wants to turn things around and really wants to, like, fix shit. And it's they have their mutual respect eventually, or whatever. You got people who are just like, they don't have anywhere to go. I will tell you this one thing, which I have used because you say that make a cool TTRPG. I have used this character in other things because it's in my opinion, a brilliant idea. So here's the thing, right? I don't like characters who hate other characters. I don't mind if there's conflict, but I don't enjoy characters who are just mad at other people and all they do is yell. I don't find that fun. I didn't want that in the show. You can have people who are sad or are working through stuff. I think that's totally fine to have that. But I didn't want to have characters in there who are just like mean and nasty for no reason. I don't find that fun. I didn't want to do it. But yelling is fun. Yelling can be funny. So I wanted a character who yelled. And my compromise to myself on that was, what if there's a character who has a symbiote and they don't get along? So which is, again, there's a symbiote in Deep Space Nine. As I said, I'm wearing my influences on my sleeve with this show. So there's a person who just constantly yells at his stomach. And he's having one-sided arguments with his stomach. Well, a lot of like, well, no, we have to say hi, because it'll be awkward if we don't. And just like, whatever, and just being like, fine, we should do this thing now. Sorry, I had to say that, otherwise, whatever. Or like, so that was just the thing, where it's just like arguments where it's just like, no, I didn't mean it to come off rude. That didn't come off. Did that come off rude? See? And just like that was basically the premise, the idea of like, so you could have a character who was arguing and annoyed, but they were just annoyed with their stomach instead of yelling at other people. And that was the thing I loved very, very much. Would there be a quirk type in marketing, double and triple booking ad spots? Um, so, so I want to point out, when I said news radio, in my mind, I meant because this was a lot of quirky cast. And you could say news radio, you could say any kind of, you could say Night Court. It wasn't a radio station, it was a space station. But I said news radio because it was a situation comedy, a workplace one. And news radio is full of weird characters where even the straight character, the main character, the person who people are supposed to bounce off ideas off of, Dave is a weirdo. Dave is weird. And there are episodes where he's very weird. There are episodes where he's not that weird, but there are episodes where he's unbelievably weird. And to me, that was important. So that's why that was kind of the influence of that is, I need some wacky, odd characters. This is the place of just complete and utter nonsense. I want character actors in this. I want people who are like unbelievably talented to come through here, obviously. But yeah, that was kind of the idea, was that it would be like a weird workplace that happens to be a space station. I was picturing a space station news radio Good Morning Vietnam set during the Klingon-Cardassian War. Yeah, not that detailed, dirty, probably. But like, the thing about also, the beauty of doing a sitcom on a space station is you can do all the shit that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, it doesn't make sense that these characters would hang out outside of work if they go to a day job and then they go home, right? Like, that's never really made sense in a lot of ways. That, like, why would these characters spend time together outside of this? What's in it for them to do these things? In many ways, it doesn't make any sense, right? But if it's a space station, well, you bump into people. You're going to see people a lot. You don't have to come up with excuses why people are seeing each other outside of work, other than the fact that, like, yeah, poker nights happen or whatever. But, like, if you're all in the same space, you run into each other. I think, like, it solves certain problems that may not even be problems. But yeah, um, it was a premise I really loved. But like I said, that is a thing that I've always really pushed for, which is just like, when in conversations with people who are like, I'm working on a pilot for a thing. I'm like, cool. Like, does it explore the world? But those pilots to me are really interesting. I think the Lost pilot, which we started this stream talking about, is interesting to watch, because watch it with the understanding that they don't know anything about what they're about to do. They just made the pilot. I think that is a fun way to engage with that. It's also really interesting to look at, like, other shows that did understand what their pilots were, that did understand, like, what they were going to be doing with the program, they were presenting that at the start of it, at the beginning of it, they're like, okay, this is what the show is. Here's how we're going to explain this show. Those kind of pilots, I think, are really engaging. Because they just, like, I don't know, they just go a long way to get you invested in the show. They know what is going on. News radio, like I said, is kind of remarkable in that it is a sitcom pilot that is funny and good, because that doesn't happen. Most of the time, sitcoms don't have a good first season. They have a very bad first season, because the chemistry is awful and the writing is noted to death, and they got somebody to shoot the pilot that doesn't shoot comedy well, and nobody fucking thought to ask about that. And oh god, they don't know how, like, oh, we didn't have the budget for this and we're doing that, and halfway through the pilot we fired the actor and replaced them, and so we need to reshoot a bunch of stuff, and that is now going to be the best part of it, is the stuff that we reshot, because we're all getting comfortable and figuring ourselves out. And there was a fight between the head writer and their childhood friend who they wrote this thing with, and they're not on the project, and oh god, this is, like, never going to get picked up, so I don't even care. Oh, if this gets picked up, I won't be in it, so it doesn't matter, because I'm promised on another show that I think might get canceled, so I'm in this pilot in case it does and this gets picked up. Oh, it didn't get canceled, so now I'm out of here. Bye. There's so much shit in pilots, and especially in first seasons, which is why most of the time people are just like, watch the pilot and then start with season 2. Or, like, here's the 4 episodes of this season that are good. That happens so often because it's true. Especially the comedy. It just takes a long time for it to get really fucking good. Okay. So, this goes in like this, and then this goes like this, and then there are caps that go in here. Cap it off. And this is going to go on the back. All right. Let's put these caps on, which are C. There we go. We're going to take a pause to the calls in a little bit, and I'll talk about ways you can support the channel. Ooh, I got something in my eye, so hold on. Great. Yeah, we'll talk about ways to support the channel. In the second hour, we'll talk about anime and manga. We'll start with anime, then we'll get into manga, because I have very little to talk to you about anime. because I just kind of we're at the point now where I'm just trying to watch like stuff that I didn't want to watch this season, but there's a reason. Shit, can't get this thing out of my eye. I got it, I think. But we're at the point now where I can't. Uh, I'm watching stuff that I was like, yeah, I didn't give this a fair shake, so let me try. And it turns out there's a reason because I knew I didn't want to watch it. So I'm at that point now, which is not a good place to be. So I have two shows that I'll talk about, but I don't have much to say about them because they were like, oh, I should give this a shot. Yeah, I didn't like it. Okay, so why won't this work? These caps are supposed to go on here. We don't just see the back of this. Now, I don't really need to do this because we won't see this anyway. But I probably should try to get it on. Get it to work. The same for either side, so. Let's see. Is there a little notch in here? Is there any? No. You should just slip on here. They're not, and that is frustrating to me. There are quite a few trailers that caught my interest or see our YouTube channel for upcoming seasons. Yes, next season there's going to be some good stuff. There's some stuff that I'm not super into. Like, I'm actually kind of down on the isekai next season. Just because I've read, well, I read one of them, and I don't think it's good. I think World Assassination isn't good. Actually, two of them. I think World Assassination isn't good, and I think that the Evolution one is bad too. I think both those are all right. I'm not going to put these caps on because they don't want to stay on. You won't even see them. It's fine. I think that's okay. But anyway, you put caps on the back there. We're going to move on. I think both those isekai don't look good. I haven't looked at the upcoming stuff yet. Not sure where to look. So, if you go to Crunchyroll and Funimation's YouTube channel, you can watch a lot of trailers. They haven't necessarily promoted everything that's coming out. What, you're not down on the chubby guy who get isekai'd with a cast, with his class, yes, and his lead waifu is a pink gorilla. Yeah, he gets separated from them, and then he eats a thing that makes him a super buff version of himself, and then he meets a gorilla who wants to be with him and take care of him, and he hates that, and he treats her like shit until she eats a thing, the same thing he ate, and turns into an attractive lady. And then he's like, okay, it's fine. Yeah, I don't think that's a good anime. Or, I mean, it's not a good manga. I'll at least say that. Can't say it's going to be maybe they'll radically change it. Kotaku usually does a write-up on the anime for the season. Don't know if they have already. Yeah, there's a big gap between because the new stuff isn't coming out for a while. Let me check out AniChart. AniChart.net also will list all the things, and it will start to get the information about when things are coming out. So next airing, okay, so technically the first episode of the new season is Megaton Kyushisaki, and that is a mecha show that is coming out on Thursday or Friday. So that's coming out on Friday. So technically Friday, the first show is starting, but I won't be watching. I don't think I'm going to watch that because it seems like a very generic mecha show, but it's like a school mecha show. So they're going to be riding mechs, but they're going to school to learn how to ride it, and that doesn't sound particularly engaging to me. But on Friday, we do get the first episode of Restaurant to Another World, and that season 2, and that's great. So I'll be definitely watching that. So yeah, there's just been a point. So it looks like this weekend things are going in, are kicking off. So this past weekend, like just about everything finished up. There's a few that like went, you know, that are like going more. What should I say? There are a few shows that are continuing from last season. How long ago was season 1? 2000? Yeah, I want to say it was 2018, maybe 2019. Restaurant to Another World wasn't that long ago, but it was a few years ago. That is a show I'm very surprised that there is a second season of, because I think it's fantastic, but it didn't set the world on fire. But if you want an isekai that is just a charming little slice of life about uh, a restaurant that on Saturdays closes to the public so that people from another world can come and eat and like have a good time, it's a real good show. Neat. I think I prefer the manga over the anime, though. I don't quite like how they talk about food in ways no person talks. Yeah, I mean, like they talk. I don't know. I think it's charming. I think the characters are really fun. So I totally like the anime, but I can understand if you're more interested in the manga. Uh, I mean, a good food anime. I never say no to, and that is a good food anime. So I am interested in seeing that because I genuinely enjoy it. Yeah, it's so oddly technical. Yeah, I think a lot of that in food discussed in anime ends up being technical because there's such a respect for it that it ends up, yeah, being very very like technically specific. So I could see why that wouldn't be your favorite. But yeah, there's a few shows. The world's greatest assassin reincarnated as an aristocrat is not a good manga, but maybe here's the thing: it's based on a light novel. Maybe the light novel is great, and the manga adaptation is bad, which has happened. I mean, the non-isekai fantasy show that I'm actually the show probably the thing I'm most excited for this season is uh the story about the guy who's kicked out of the hero party, so he just wants to open an apothecary, and the former short-term member of his party who Aristophan, thank you so much, Aristophan. Thank you for all these subs. I'm going to turn off the notifications there. Aristophan just gifted 5 subs. Let's throw the Barricade Lego site the mode in the chat and welcome in Chris Weed, piano, Dr. Bucket, great name, Dr. Bucket, Shieldorian, Suki, and Siki, Siku, and Razgriz2. Welcome everybody. Enjoy your subscriptions. And yeah, if you're in chat right now, be sure to thank Aristophan for gifting those subs. Aristophan, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Thank you for getting me up to 50 subscribers again. I'm gonna do our last 2 stickers on here, and then we'll take a pause for the cause. What was the 45-second one-minute food anime woman coming home from work and stopping at different food places? Dirty, I cannot remember the name of that, but that was very good. But that name does escape me. But yeah, take advantage of Subtober. Indeed, yes. Subtober ends on Thursday, so feel free to get in, take advantage of that. What was I gonna say? One thing, yes. So the show is this dude. He's kicked out of the heroes party, and he opens up a store, and he gets tracked down by the former, maybe still princess of a kingdom who was an adventurer for a little time, and he helped out and kind of like really left a good impression on. And now she's like, hey, what if I worked for you? And there's action in it. There's certainly action, but there's also a love story. And I think it's a very cute manga. And so and also sometimes violent as shit. So I would be interested to see where that goes. Oh yes, Dirty. You're talking about Love is Like a Cocktail. The one about with a couple where the husband mixed different drinks for his wife when she comes home from work. Yes, he works as a bartender. She's got a high stress job, but he makes drinks for her because she can't really handle her liquor, and she's all lovey-dovey when she has a drink. That's Love is Like a Cocktail is a cute little story. Very, very good. Um, you're not wrong. You're talking about a good show. Um, all right. So we'll get our weapons built after this pause for the cause. We're going to take a pause for the cause. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. I'm going to turn this off because we don't need these on right now. If you're currently a subscriber, let's throw the Bear Cave leg of the site, the emote in the chat. We got a bunch of new subscribers thanks to Aristofan. But yeah, if you're a subscriber, you can throw those emotes in. Let the people know. Subscribing is an easy way to support what I do here. There are many ways to support, either through gifting a sub. You could be a gifter like Aristofan. Maybe you could convert your sub into a regular subscription and save some money, like I said, because of September. You could do that. You could also, if you wanted to, use your Twitch, your Amazon Prime gaming token. You can use on Twitch, because if you have Amazon and Twitch linked together, you can do that. And if you're not doing that for me, and you have that token, do it for somebody, because if it's just sitting around, that's just free money out there for somebody. So you could do that. Alternatively, you could join my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear, $1, $3, $5, and $10 tiers, different ways to subscribe there and support different levels. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. All of these are optional. You could subscribe to my YouTube for free. In fact, I would love it if you subscribe to my YouTube for free. But you can also join for $2 a month. And every video that I normally put on Wednesday, you get on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you're going to get a video. Also, if you join Patreon tomorrow, you're going to get my Q&A video that I'm shooting tomorrow. Because every month, towards the end of the month, I shoot a Q&A video with questions from patrons. So I'll be doing that. Also, direct donations, always appreciate it at various ways to do that. If you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up YouTube? You can find all these links in the show description below the video. If you're watching this on the VOD, you can find it by opening up the chat. If you're like Pat, I've heard this a million times, or I don't care, even though I've never heard it before, I will be getting back to building, and we're going to work on the weapons here in just a moment or two. So thank you very much for sticking with me as I get through that. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Okay, so I did all those things. Now, this kit I bought early this year. This was from a gift card, Christmas present to myself, late Christmas present. And the thing I'm building after this, I bought myself, and then my $10 patrons voted on what I should build next. But here's the thing. I will forgo my backlog and instead build the thing that you want me to build if you buy it from my Amazon wish list. That is an easy way to support what I do is, oops, sorry about that. Hold on. Go to my Amazon wish list, buy a thing. It'll come to me in the mail. I'll shoot a video about it. Just be like, hey, I got this in the mail for my wish list. Check this out. And then I'll build it on stream. That is the thing you can do. I have, oh yeah, and it'll jump the queue and I'll build ahead things. I've got Lego sets, various prices, and ooh, that dropped down in price. So I'm going to put that in a different spot. Inexpensive kits, very expensive kits, cheap high grades, very expensive high grades. I keep plugging this, the Neko Busho Funamori treasure ship. Neko Busho is the thing I've never built, but it's a cute cat that looks like it looks like a figurine that would be at like a guidance counselor at school's desk. But in this case, it's for some reason piloting a mech or a treasure ship or some other sort of nonsense thing. Ooh, that went on sale. That's cool. There's some kits here, high grades, master grades, inexpensive kits, incredibly expensive kits, kits that don't ever go on sale, kits that have free shipping, kits that never do, or they're not prime. But yeah, if you bought something off my wish list, like I said, you would get priority. And there's some tools at the bottom because it's always nice to have options. Speaking of options, I would love to not use Amazon, but it is very convenient for people to be able to buy stuff for me to build. I often will also buy things from USA Gundam Store, and you could buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store, and then you could go DM me the code that you get in your email, or you could send me a whisper here on Twitch with that code, and then I will buy something at USA Gundam Store using that gift card. That is an alternative because it's nice to have alternatives. Again, don't have to do that. These are all optional things. A way to support me for free is to join my Discord if you haven't already. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's a very nice community of folks. I recommend the Discord. What's the Discord? It's the Discord. That is not a thing I will hopefully ever say again because I did not enjoy that coming out of my mouth. Let's see. Video links. I put up Pat Bear's Anime Club. If you missed my live stream on Wednesday, here's Pat Bear's Anime Club, where I talked about the end of the summer season and my feelings on the summer season, went through all the shows, and previewed the fall season, the things I'm most excited about. And also the shows that I was like, what is this? I've never heard of this. I don't know if anyone's going to watch that. So it's 2 hours. So if I think it's a good indication of my feelings on the last season and this season. And the best of Build With Baer is my weekly series. It is clips from the streams. If you ever see something fun on the stream that you thought was really funny or cool or weird, you hit the clip it button. Clip that. I always appreciate that. But I also look in for my own clips. And I don't remember what this last one was. It was the gut pack. It was me talking about the gut pack, which is a food thing. I'll have a new one up on Wednesday. My $5 and $10 patrons get that tomorrow. My $2 YouTube get that tomorrow. My members get that tomorrow. As a thank you, they get that a day early. And the next one is pretty good. It's recent. It literally is from last Wednesday, so it is pretty recent, but I think it's a good little moment. Anyway, I'm going to get ready to talk about some anime, then we're going to talk about some manga. I tried with these two shows, so we'll talk about them here. I don't have a lot of great things to say about them, but we'll talk about them as I start to build these guns, because I can build these at the same time. We're building our rifles, and then we'll be building our pistols, and then we'll be done with the stream. So we'll get this going here. So, SonnyBoy looks goddamn gorgeous. What a beautiful looking anime. Premise: a whole class is suddenly in a different dimension, but it's not like a fantasy world. It's not like Knights of the Round Table, like medieval fantasy. Not that kind of a world. They're just trapped in a weird space, like it doesn't make any sense, like psychological thing, and they're like trying to understand the rules of the world and the rules of each other, and then there are people who are banding together to try to like make sense of it, and people that are looking to take advantage of the chaos and their own unique abilities they have, and it's some of it is, like, I didn't watch every episode. I think I watched, like, 4 episodes. Some of it is, like, Battle Royale, like, weird Battle Royale. And some of it is, like, weird survival, like, psychological survival horror. Not horror, but suspense. I don't think it's good. I think it's beautiful. I think it looks great. Maybe it pays off. Maybe it ends in a spectacular space, and I'm a fool for not recognizing how brilliant it is. But I came away from the episodes that I watched thinking, I wish that this had like another pass. Like, I wish that more people had worked on this, and it had a stronger foundation for the weirdness of it, because I don't think the weirdness of it, one, I don't think it's weird for weird's sake, which is its choice and can be great, but I also don't think that it like backs up its oddness enough. I think that it's just, I think it falls flat, and it is not like, does not have the stability that it needs. So that is my interpretation of the first couple episodes of SonnyBoy. I don't recommend it. I'm probably not the best audience for it. I could see people absolutely loving it. In fact, there are people I know who really love it, who are like, that's my favorite show this season. And to them, I say, I'm glad you have a favorite show this season. But yeah, it didn't do anything for me. And I wanted to like it because it looks so weird and cool. And that's appealing to me. A weird, cool show is is right up my alley and like what I normally would be super into. But it just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, part of it is that the genre doesn't do anything for me. I don't have like a huge love for that style of psychological show in general. Can I get this to work? Hmm. Sorry, folks. This goes in like this, but it doesn't want to stay in like that. I'm doing it wrong. Hmm. Okay, that worked. All right. Got that in. Okay, the other show I want to tell you about is um, The Duke of Death and His Maid, which I knew I wasn't going to like. I shouldn't have even watched. Uh, both these are on Funimation, by the way, and I only watched one show weekly on Funimation, so I definitely don't think I got my money's worth this summer season. I just ended up watching some older stuff because I was like, I need to justify why I am watching things here still, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Because I was like, yeah, I was only watching one thing, and it was one of my favorite shows this season, but I was only watching one thing. So anyway, um, the Duke of Death and His Maid is about a guy that is cursed. A young man. He will curse people. If he touches them, they will die. And he is just out. He is waiting for his own death. He is a miserable person. He is miserable, and he is looking to just be miserable and wallow in it. And maybe it is unfair that he is doing that. Maybe he should work on being a better version of himself. Maybe he should explore those things. I don't know. I also don't think it's fair to force him to do that because I think it is totally okay for him to be miserable and sad considering his circumstances. And it maybe, just maybe, he doesn't need what he gets, which is a character who is his maid who is just flirting with him constantly. And tormenting isn't the right word because he's not being tormented, but he isn't happy about it. And yes, is she bringing him out of his shell? Is she pushing him towards something that may benefit him in the long run and be good for him? I mean, that's maybe. I don't know. I didn't get that far in it, but I will say I don't think she needs to do what she's doing. That it does feel very weird. Also, I hate the art style. I absolutely hate how the Duke of Death and his maid look. I'm probably never going to come around on it. Other people might be like, yeah, it looks fine. Oh, this computer generated look is weird. They're weird, shiny faces. It's totally okay. The thing like characters that are both beautiful and ugly at the same time somehow, yeah, it's totally great. You can think that if you'd like. I just don't like how it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like how it's presented. I don't enjoy the look of it. I want that. This is the show that out of just about anything that I watched, that I was like, yeah, I didn't give this a fair shake. Let me try. This is the one I wanted to because I like stories like this. I don't necessarily like it when characters pester one another, but I do like the idea of like somebody finding their worth and figuring out that they do matter and that like they do deserve happiness and trying to make those things work. I think those are worthwhile and stories that I enjoy. But I just genuinely think that um, the Duke of Death and his maid don't accomplish that, and also it's not fun to look at. So I wish I could say a positive thing about it. I unfortunately don't have a positive thing to say about it. I don't think that it turned out great. Anyway, let's talk about things I did like. I've got some manga to chat about here, and I'm much more uh, interested in talking to you about this manga because there's a lot more cool shit in it. So we'll do that. Um, let's start with oh Yes, let's start with, may I ask for one final thing? Holy fucking shit. What a cool premise for an anime. Or, sorry, for a manga. Um, okay, so it starts with, and this is like, don't stop me if you've heard this before. It starts with the second prince being like, we're not getting married. Uh, in front of like a bunch of people, just being like, hey, we're not going to get married. Uh, is it a Columbo manga? No, dirty. Um, it is a titular line in the story, um, where yes, this Duke's daughter is like been engaged since she was a child. She's been engaged to this like garbage person, this like totally not talented person, and he's breaking off the engagement because he's like, you did all of these things to this woman. You treated her harshly. You did this and this and this. What do you have to say for yourself? Like, the marriage is annulled. I've gone to the king. We're annulling this engagement. It's final. And she's like, may I ask one thing? Who the fuck is this? And she just punches this girl. She puts on a fingerless leather glove and and punches the shit out of everyone in that room. And then people are like, someone stop her. I'll give you all of my slaves. And they're like, slavery is illegal. And they're like, all these people have slaves. And so she's just like, then this is justice. And she just beats the shit out of everyone. Um, because she's like trained by the goddess or of time or whatever or something. There's somebody, she's got the backing of somebody so she can strengthen her body to punch people. And she used to punch people all the time, but she had to stop because she was going to be engaged to the prince. Uh, and all of this stuff, and we learn more about it as it goes. Um, uh, she's trying to figure out like who people were propping up the second prince. There's like a conspiracy to prop up the second prince so that he will become first in line to be the king, to be the new king. And so like who's behind that? And turns out that the first prince, she's always wanted to punch this dude, but for different reasons. Not because he's a scumbag, because like he's strong and annoying, and she's sick of him. Um, and so finding out a bunch of that stuff. And yeah, I would love to see it animated because I think it would be really fun to see her inner monologue and her outer monologue, and her fight scenes. But yeah, great premise. Really enjoyed that one. May I ask one final thing? Um, the useless Tamer will turn into the top unconsciously by my previous life knowledge. As you can tell, this has not been officially subtitled or anything because the title will hopefully be changed because it doesn't make any sense. This is the literal translation. I don't know why this won't snap together, but it won't. I don't understand why. It doesn't want to go. It doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do. Stay on. Barely got it on the first time here. All right, I'm just doing one weapon of each of these two of the rifles here. I'm just going to do one of them at a time because we don't need to see. Yes, everything's well. I'll do the dual pistols, but everything else is there's two of. So I'll do the other rifle here. You can see that. I'll just do one of each of the other ones. But just imagine this character holds dual everything because there's no reason to keep doing this. Anyway, this is the rare freak accident summon. This guy, our main character here, was an incredibly skilled beast tamer in his world. To the point where it opens with him beating a character that is Son Goku. He defeats that world's monster, Son Goku, and so he gets the spirit pole, and he gets the Nimbus. And then he goes to put those items in his storage, and he falls into the storage. A 1 in a billion chance, and he ends up getting reborn in another world. And he's still a beast tamer. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm a tamer, and the world thinks tamers are terrible because people don't train them. Like, because they're just doing like, they're forcing things to be tamed by them. They're not entering into proper contracts. So what you end up with is uh, people who are not strong by doing that. So the tamers aren't strong in this world. So his basic idea is I'm going to go to school, um, and then I'll reveal to the world, I'm going to get strong. I'm going to be in school, and I'm going to prove to everyone that I am an incredible tamer, and tamers are great. Like, so that becomes the guy's mission is I'm going to spread the love of it. So he signs up as a sage, which is a class that can do everything. So basically he's just like, yeah, I'm a sage. I just happen to specialize in taming. And then eventually he'll be like, actually, I'm a tamer, and that's the only thing I do. Um, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, I think the thing that's fun about it, but one of my favorite things about it, is the idea that he is that he has Goku shit. I just think that's fun that he's got the pole and the Nimbus. He makes deals with like a very strong, capable beast like really easily, and then one that is just cool and fun, and they can change shape and become little friend pets, and it's cute. There's some cute shit in it. Um, the other story I want to tell you about is Heroic Chronicles of the Three Continents. Um, this is a main character who has been reincarnated, but he is not. It's not the typical reincarnation. He only knows he's been reincarnated because he made a deal with a spirit. He made a contract with a spirit, so he gets information of his previous life. So he is a very now he's being installed as the emperor. This is not a thing he wanted. He wanted to live a slow, easy life, but he is now the child emperor. So he is because basically the other people around him are fools. One would completely bankrupt the empire that's already crumbling, and the other just wants to be an artist, which he gets to have that slow life for some reason, but our dude doesn't. But our dude has knowledge and tactics from far off lands and other worlds, so he is ahead of the game. And also, his other big thing is here's the things he wants to do. He's going to help out with the world, or help out with this country, bring it back from the depths that it has fallen, and also flirt with his childhood friend, who is also a knight that is sworn to protect him, because he's definitely has feelings for her. So he's like, these are the things I'm going to do. I'm going to save the kingdom, bring prosperity to everybody, and flirt with my knight. And yeah, it ends up being a pretty fun story. So I would say Heroic Chronicles of the Three Continents is worth checking out. I think it's a pretty decent story. Pretty decent as far as stories go. Some good action in it, and I think the character, while he is smug, he is it is fun that he's pretty easy to placate, considering that he's definitely super powerful. He's still like a kid. Um, let's see. And then the last one I want to tell you about is, oh, what a cute story. This is such a cute manga, folks. I definitely think you should check it out. It is called My New Wife is Forcing Herself to Smile. And you're like, Pat, that doesn't sound fun. It is very fun. It is a good manga. The chapters are very short because it's not like a coma, it's not a 4-panel, but it is like it is telling short little stories, little tales. The premise is it's a samurai. Samurai got married to a young lady who is the daughter of a martial arts dojo. He is a samurai. He is well known. They never met, and he's unsure of himself, and he's convinced, I don't know how to fix this, but my wife definitely doesn't like me because she's putting on this forced smile all the time, And I definitely know that is because she is unhappy, and I have no idea how to fix that shit. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. He is completely in over his head and feels like very sad that he doesn't have a way to make her happy. He does not know how to make her happy. Has no idea how to do that. Turns out, the way to do that is what he's doing, because she is not unhappy with him. In fact, she's fucking psyched. Her husband is the best samurai around. He is cool as hell. He is thoughtful and helpful. He helps people. He's like got a lovely personality, and he's dedicated. He trains people very well. He's very thoughtful of his students, and he kicks a lot of ass. She's putting on a forced smile because she doesn't want to have a shit-eating grin and an embarrassed face, because she has no idea how to talk to a dude like this. Because she's definitely in love with him, but has no idea how to express herself in that way. She has no concept of how to like deal with that. So he's like, "Oh, I think my wife is unhappy," and she's just like, "Keep it together, keep it together." And so it's the misadventures of that couple. Like a lot of people think they're like, "Oh, they don't get along. That's weird. That's sad." Like his older brother is like, "What's happening right now?" Like it's very clear she's not happy. Hey, Haku, yes, we are working on some Gunpla. We're working on the Strike Noir from 2007. We're just about done with it. Yeah, and so my new wife is forcing her to help the smile is a great little manga. I highly recommend it. I think it is just like a lovely little story that is told very well. And yeah, I recommend if you're looking for something to read. I think it's great. Um, I will have more manga to talk about on Thursday, because I always like to read some stuff. Let's see, what else am I going to be talking about soon? I'll talk about here. Uh, Let me look at my to read list. My to read list now includes um, The Other World's Magic is Too Far Behind, um, which is a pretty. It's an interesting isekai because it's the basic premise is the main character already is a magician. He already knows magic from his world, and now he's in a different world. But yeah, so that I think is pretty interesting. Uh, Reincarnated as a villager, strongest slow life. I'm really interested in because it sounds like it's just like a very chill isekai. Uh, but a dude that is just like made his wishes and wants to have his slow life and is getting it. Like what happens when you're a really cool MC main character. Oh yeah, Altair Meister might be cool. That is not an isekai. That is the doesn't know that he's awesome style. Uh, you want to build the Digimon? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Uh, it's tough. Look, buying Gunpla is tough. I mean, even Digimon stuff. This is a tough hobby to have, especially right now with shipping being so high from Japan. Means that stores have to charge a lot to make any money. The secondary and third markets are really strapped for inventory, and it is a buyer's market for them, so they don't have to really worry about it, which is bad for us as people that want to buy stuff. Yeah, it is a rough time to be a Gunpla fan. I certainly I get by building for stream, but there are cool master grades that I would love to build that I certainly can't build because I do not have the money to buy those big master grades. I didn't buy anything from Premium Bandai recently because I just did not have the funds. I wanted to. You live in Sweden, so getting from Japan, USA, even UK is a bit. Yes, no, that totally. That is rough for you um, to be able to get stuff from. Your imports are very high right now, so yeah, totally. That is really rough. to get those things. All right, I'm just gonna put it like this. Let's do the gun nice and easy because we are basically done with this here. These can sit on the side of the kit, but we won't. We'll just have them posed. I'm not going to worry about the internals of that. But this is basically the weapons on this kit. This kit does have a different mode. I'll show you to you in a minute, or how it looks here. I'm going to take a photo with all of these weapons, dual pistols, the various guns, and then I'll show you. It doesn't have a transformation or anything, but it does have an alt way of holding the weapons. So we'll just do it like that. And then, yeah, these pop out, and these can be sword. This could be a sword, which is kind of fun. I like it. I don't love it, but yeah, you can just. I mean, there's a way to you add a thing on it. You can add the beams on it, and then it's a sword. But we'll just kind of leave it as is. And the mechanic of these popping in and out, I think, is very nice. But let me show you the. Where is that? Okay, so how do I want to look this here? Just do the like, yeah. Okay, so this goes like this, or wait. Yes, so this goes like this, and then, oh, also there's a gun on here. These wings have a gun. So as I get this together to show off this last thing here, let me ask you all, folks, what are you watching? Anybody watching anything on streaming services? You watching anything on television? Seen a movie? Lord Crashton asks, have you seen this gas station simulator game about renovating and running a gas station in the middle of the desert? I have not seen that, Lord Crashington. Gas station simulator sounds pretty okay. I will take a look at that. I finished and really enjoyed Getting the Car Loser, and I do recommend it. It is free on Steam and itch. That is the game that I've been playing and now completed. Getting the Car Loser, I think, is really fun and totally worth your time. It's just got a great story to it. It's very gay and very good. So I would recommend that if you're looking for something to watch or to play. It's not that long. I mean, like, I can't remember how long it is. I'm sorry, Lashbrook. I'm very bad at how many hours games are. I just lose track of time. So I can't tell you exactly how long it is. I watched all the episodes of Star Wars Visions. Oh, yeah, that stuff, right? Yeah, the cool takes on Star Wars universe. Yes, the anime Star Wars stuff. I have not seen that. I hear very good things, but have not checked that out. I will have to. I endeavored to do that. All right, so I'm going to take one more photo of this. Then we're going to move on to our next kit, which is the Tertium. And we'll be moving on to that. Yes, the Tertium. Yes, the Tertium high grade, which is similar in a couple ways and different in many others. We'll do that now. Let me just get a photo here in its wings open mode. You're watching DS9 one more time after the last person in here mentioned and made me remember it's been a long while. Well, Dirty, I hope you're enjoying DS9. I mean, I've got a soft spot for that show. I think it takes it starts off really strong, does take a little while to find its footing, but once it finds its footing, holy shit, that is a great show. That is a all-time great. Great. There's a good episode about a rock band in Star Wars, and not the Jizz Band. Hell yeah, Lord Grashington. I need to pick that back up. Yeah, I mean, I love Deep Space Nine so much. It is my favorite Trek. I used to go back and forth between that and Next Generation, but then no, I don't want to revisit Next Generation that much. I always want to revisit Deep Space Nine. So I think that's where I'm at with that particularly. All right, so we do have some stickers here, not too many for the Tertium. Oh, we can jump to that. There we go. Oh, and then we also have to figure out our colors, which we will here. I haven't gotten to shave Cisco yet. Yeah, so Riker with a beard, Cisco with a shaved head. Once you get to those points, that's when those two shows, respectively, get great. Beard Riker really opens up Enterprise. Shaved head Cisco really opens up Deep Space Nine. Obviously, there are caveats to that, but that is, episodes that are in one part that's good and other part that isn't, but that's a general good indication. You're still halfway through season 2. Hell yeah. All right. So let's figure out the colors of this. So we know that, I'm just going to move my keyboard over here to figure out our colors. We know that the yellow here is going to be black, or we'll use that. Purple, we're going to use black as well. And then our white is going to be gray. So we'll do white. Oops. White pieces are going to be gray. Our yellow is black. And then our purple, we're also going to use black. Very simple colors for this one. Don't have to get too nonsense with it. We have two different kinds of purple on here. We've got our gold or our yellow, and we've got and then we've got our white. And then the photo here has like a blue in there, and that blue is not that. It's not that. It's more of a different shade of purple. It's two different purples. So there isn't actually the blue in there. It's even on this part of the kit too here. This is not that kind of blue. It's just a different different kinds of purple here. So not a big deal on that. And then only stickers for the head. Head has the stickers. Sorry. Lysandra wrote, I've been trying out a manga called Unwanted Immortal Adventurer. It's about an adventurer that's been stuck on a low rank in his guild and is the verge of a quarter-life crisis. Then he's suddenly killed in a dungeon by some eldritch abomination, and he comes back as a skeleton. Oh, man, to come back as a skeleton, that sucks. Unless it's awesome. But my guess is it's not. My guess is that it sucks ass. All right, so let's get started on this kit. This kit is both very basic and good looking because, it's got a lot of armor. So it's a big beefy friend, which I always enjoy when a kit has a ton of armor like this. But also, it feels a little like it's a mass-produced mobile suit. It kind of it reminds me a bit of the Wyndham. That it just feels like, yeah, this one feels a little basic, but I do like it. I do think it looks neat. Also been listening to a lot of Lil Nas X's Montero. Very fun album, totally. Folks, if you like Lil Nas X, you might enjoy the cover that recently was put up by Ska2 Network. Ska2 Network recently put up a Lil Nas X cover that is very good, and it's one of those covers where you listen to it and you go, wait, this wasn't a ska song already? Shit. Very, very good. I mean, also, that ska cover was pretty good. Yeah, also, Ska2 Network is just hitting it out of the park lately, just running on all cylinders, doing great work this year. Just excellent work all around. Big fan. Big fan of Jer and the work they do. All right, so let's see. So this is going to go in like this. Basic here. We're starting with the chest. We're going to do the chest, then we're going to do the head. That is how a lot of high grades of this era are done, which is that it's the late 2000 or the early 2020s kits, the late 2000 teens, the early 2020 kits. This is a 2020 kit with parts from 2019. You can tell that this is a kit that, like a lot of these kits, this was built off from parts that existed and then some new parts. And you can tell that because there's no A. It's B, C, D, E, F. There's no A sheet here because they didn't need it. So they just put the face parts, the new face parts on F. Yeah, but I think some of these are going to be like circa 2019 or 2018. Yeah, this is 2019 here. Like a lot of this is just like parts from another kit. There'll be some extras, I'm sure. Watching Daily Life of Mortal Sothor on Netflix. It's Bill conversion. That's pretty good, and it's different to hear Mandarin instead of Japanese. Ooh, yeah. That is fun, right? Sometimes that could be really fun when you're hearing something a little different. That can be pretty cool. Why can't I get this piece to go in right? It goes in like this. This is the arm piece. I did it on the other one with no problem. Why is this one being weird? Nazek's cover of Jolene is very good. I agree. Jolene is so good, especially like the slowed down 45 of it. Oh, 100%. I mean, Jolene is an incredible song, and many people have put their stamp on it. And Lil Nas X cover, I think, is solid. Um, Due to his research on dungeons, oh, this is Lysander talking about the manga they've been reading. So B120. Due to his research on dungeons, he knows that the monsters have a leveling up system and can evolve. So he tried to figure out how to unlock monster transformations with the help of a wizard lady that lives nearby. Okay, so he's been turned into a skeleton, like a living skeleton or undead skeleton, and he's like, okay, well, if I go back, he's probably like, if I go back to town, they'll like kill me. They won't believe me. So the only thing I can do is level up or evolve into a different beast. That makes sense. I mean, yeah, I get it. All right, so we'll put that there. I spent the day grinding in Final Fantasy 14. No, Lysander, don't apologize. It just took me a second to realize what you were talking about. That's how we ended up double featuring Last Action Hero and Raw Deal because they're leaving HBO Max. Okay, that's fun. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just watch weird things. I get it. Okay, and then this has got to go here. Okay, so that goes there. Oh yeah. We'll get this the chest here together, and then we'll panel line it all at once because it's not super complicated to get all this together here. Get this all done in one go, just about. I've had this one for a little while, not too long. This high grade. I like a purple kit, so I was pleased to be able to put this together, or to pick this up, because yeah, I like I said, I do enjoy a nice purple friend. And it's got a vibe to it. It's got a look that I like. I don't know. I appreciate where it's going here. Similar to the Strike Noir, it does have these like blades here in the center that I genuinely enjoy. Weird like fins. Although this should be a little easier to put together than the other ones, theoretically. Those other ones were hard to put on. These also stick out, so they're different. There we go. Those other ones were a little tough to get in. This isn't as bad. We are going to raid at the end of the stream. We're kind of getting towards the end of our time together here. We will raid. We'll go find somebody cool doing something neat out there. Give them a little love. Knock on wall here, or knock on wood. Didn't have a lot of bullshit activity tonight, which is always nice. We were definitely on Saturday getting some bot raided, or bot followed, I should say, not bot raided. We're getting bot followed, which was not fun. And that was annoying that those were showing up in my notifications. Of course, all those accounts did get banned, so it doesn't matter, but still could have been annoying. Luckily, a lot of that happened towards the end of the stream, but it was so much that like my bot couldn't keep up with it. That was frustrating. SeriBot could not handle it. Which is like one of the reasons why I have that bot, is to auto ban accounts that clear, like if it's got Haas in the name, just auto ban it. What are we doing here? But it didn't auto ban it, so dumb. I always talk about, I don't always talk about it. I use what service, what do I use here? What do we call this? So Commander Root made a thing called the block list manager, and it allows you to add in like from official like known bot accounts to your block list. Now, if you have a lot of blocked bots like I do, it takes a long time to load. Just unfortunately it does. But there are other tools that Commander Root has made, and one of them is you can check to see if any of your followers are known bots, and then you can block them and delete them. So it'll basically like go, if you approve, it'll go through your follower list to see if you've been followed by any known bot accounts. And that's very helpful. It's very nice to just do that. And also, that's probably from a viewer standpoint, if you don't stream that often, it's probably easier to do that than to have like an incredibly long block list. Is just check to see, make sure that that's true, because it does take a really long time to load like 500,000 blocked accounts, and it is fucking really annoying to deal with all that. But yeah, be very helpful to have those tools. Use those tools. SeriBot also really good to have with the auto block. And then I do also use who's the person's name? I forget. Oh yeah, SHH bot. I have my dashboard set up for SHH bot, which is just a panic button that I can hit. I can just hit this button and it will basically go to like emote only, and it'll do a bunch of things. It'll start to block accounts and mute accounts, and it does a bunch of different things, which is fucking great. It is great. It's a great tool. Tightly fit the part. Bars will go. Okay. All right, so that went in like that. Got 2 more parts here. We're just going to get the body done, and then we are going to go and raid a stream. We'll find someone cool out there, someone doing neat stuff that we want to go support. Once I get these last 2 parts done here. Oops. And yeah, we didn't get too far in this kit, but we made some. We just started it. This will be what we do on Thursday. Wednesday stream will be Jackbox Party Pack 7. It'll be the last 7 stream, the last stream to focus on 7, because because 8 is coming out in October, and I will get that. So this is just my chance to like play, something that I've wanted to play for a while with y'all. So that way we can do like Jackbox, and we'll do Champed Up. We'll do Quiplash and Champed Up, and that'll probably be the 2 that we primarily do. Maybe we'll do another one from that pack. But yeah, that's a Wednesday night as my weekly bonus stream. We'll be playing that. So I hope you come and hang out for that. And then Thursday, picking this kit up, continue to work on it, doing all that. Goes in like this. Yeah. There. And then this goes together. And I will probably panel line this off stream, is my guess. Is it off stream? I will do the panel lining of this. Backpack's not officially done yet anyway. I got to put the rockets in, so. Also, it doesn't want to snap together. There it is. There it is. Now it is. But yeah, I still have to put the rockets on the backpack here. But we did get some done, and of course I got to panel line the whole thing and get in there and get it all looking nice and solid here. So we will take the time to do that on a future stream. right now, let's go see who is hanging out that we want to go give a raid to. Gotta raid. Gotta end every stream raid. Thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you come and hang out again on Wednesday for Jackbox and then Thursday for, other stuff. We're gonna go raid Xandra because Xandra rules, and it's always fun to go hang out with Xandra. Xandra is playing Horizon's Gate. I'm gonna turn my music down here because I'm getting an ad, which is fine. But yeah, we're gonna go give Xandra a raid. She's playing a game, and we're gonna go hang out with her. So feel free to come along on this raid. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Let's get this loaded. Xandra made my emotes and is an exceptionally wonderful person, so come hang out with her. And I hope you have a great night. I will see you on the next stream. Thanks to everybody for being here. Again, Aristofan, thank you very much for those gifted subs. Enjoy those subs, folks, and I'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.